Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Free Market's Green Earth, the homesteads and homeschools and Sounds Like Liberty bonus material focusing on environmental issues from a free market perspective. So we're just over here being a bunch of Liberty hippies. Isn't that what you'd say, Liberty hippie?
I would. That is, that's all we are, I guess. A bunch of dirty Liberty hippies.
Isn't it odd thinking of being a hippie in the Liberty movement? Because we're all a bunch of greedy capitalists, right?
Yeah, I suppose. But, I think that's part of it, though. It's you can go two ways with your hippiness. You can go with personal accountability and freedom to kind of be yourself and do what's best for yourself. And, that ends up being best for everybody around you, or you can, go the other way and force everybody to be okay with everything. And I don't know. I mean,
so let's get this out in the open here. Why should libertarians care about the environment?
I mean, how can you not, right? I mean, that's like square one. Our very resources, all that you want to go homestead land, you want to own something, you got to, where do all our resources come from?
Make sure the shit's taken care of and going to be here to make you money in the future.
Right?
If it all gets used up, but don't do shit for me.
No, sir.
So, yeah, I think a lot of people don't focus on that enough. Like, they're like, oh, you're just going to take every ounce of everything and you don't think about anyone. It's like, yeah, but I mean...
how long is your business going to last?
Yeah, trust me, if you don't pay attention to it, you're not going to have a business very long. And I think a lot of it actually has to do with the whole time horizon situation. People that typically aren't libertarians don't pay attention to the whole way off in the future. They are only concerned about right now, and so I think that everybody else is only concerned about the right now.
Yeah.
So I think what the idea for those listening is we're going to talk about news items that we see kind of coming up and discuss them. We have 3 fun ones today. One of them involves my old home state. One of them involves Twatty McTwatface McIndian lady. And the other one is a poor man in Brooklyn that I have a personal experience with going through a situation like this. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah. I think, we're both from, New York, not New York City, but New York. And kind of gets into a little bit why we left, I assume. I imagine you kind of left for some of the same reasons I did. But
I technically left to follow a band. But now that I've, kind of gotten into where I'm at, I'm glad I did. So... coincidentally, we both ran up there, and we're not running up there anymore. No. Mostly because I'm not running anymore at all. But
I'm not doing too much myself either.
So all right, let's start with this article you found in the New York Post. Is that a reliable source?
I don't know. I imagine. It can't be that unreliable, right? It's not as bad as some of the stuff out there, right?
Just for the record, like, you sent me this article, and I love this dude's fucking face in the picture. Just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, right?
Yeah.
just disgraceful. What is this shit?
Yeah.
So,
and he's right, man. He's right. It's absolutely absurd. And I lived in New York City for a little while. I lived in Brooklyn, and man, awful. It's awful. It's awful. They will take every penny you have any way they can get it. And we parked on a corner one time, and the bus went around the corner and took our front bumper off our car. And we got a ticket for not having a bumper on our car. The bumper's like laying on the ground in front of the car, and they gave us a ticket for not having a bumper on our car.
Not even remotely surprised. Just so
like. And we did, because the license plate is on the bumper, so we didn't have a license plate in the front either. So
why don't you break down the skinny on this article here?
So apparently, he's got a water bill problem. And it's not just a little one. It's like a $500,000 water bill problem.
I'm just trying to think of the gravity of that amount of money in a water bill.
It's insane. It's insane. Like, and you got to feel bad for the guy. He according to the article, right, he paid like $30,000 to have a crew come in and
to try and find it.
Go through the house, right? Go through all the property to find a leak in the plumbing, because that's the only thing that would, make sense. Unless he's like.
What's hilarious, just to give people like, maybe you're thinking, oh, I mean, it's New York City. Maybe their water bills are just really high. Later in this article, they tell you exactly how much water would have to. Essentially, it would be 2 full-size Olympic swimming pools worth of water a month that this guy would have had to use. Like, there's all the experts that they bring in, like literally, like if this amount of water was let go in, like you could tell that there would be water.
Oh yeah,
in the area. This can't happen.
He's in East Flatbush, which is it's pretty urban part of Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and if you had that much water leaking out somewhere, you would know. I mean, it's not just gonna seep into the ground and disappear. There's gonna be a pretty wet spot somewhere.
Well, I mean, 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of water. Like, there's nowhere for that to go. Like,
no.
Even if there was water or land that it could seep into, that much is not seeping into it. I'm telling you right now. Like, that's. Oh my Christ! Like I saw that, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So it's not even that it's expensive. It's just this is ludicrous.
Yeah, no, it is, and I think the worst part about it, as you go through this article, the house was built in 1950, and he bought the house for cash, right? He paid for this house cash. He owns the house like outright, and he can't even sell the house to get out from underneath it because all the tax liens and everything from this ridiculous water bill.
And let's also break this down. This is not like an old guy. Like this is not like some dude. This is a 28-year-old kid who, like, I think this is like based. He got the money from a settlement after his mom died when he was like 2 days old or something like this. What it looked like it said.
Yep.
And so like the money from that settlement, he bought a house with to try and like take care of himself and make sure he was set. And then he gets a $500,000 water bill from.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like so 4 years ago they turned the water off, right? Mm-hmm. They totally shut it off, and so I don't know. It's just been accruing interest, and they've just
Well, and he's been like showering in another place, and he can't sell the property because of the liens. Here's the thing that gets me. At a certain point, like. This is what you get with monopolies. He has no choice but to use this one water company. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
And what is he going to do? Like, he has to do what they do. He has no option to get another. Like, he can't just go, I want another water company. Like, there's nothing he can do about that.
No, he's got to get it through the city. I mean, that's it.
According to the Environmental Protection Agency, they told the Post last week the property had a substantial water leak, which despite several notices over the years, the owner has refused to repair, and the water bill has not been paid since 2013.
Yeah. I mean, why would you? When you get a bill for something is absolutely wrong, and you know that the cost of it is just insane. I mean, how do you do that?
Well, so
you can't pay it. They got a picture down here. A monthly water bill for the East Flatbush home. It says he owes over $150,000. The city claims he owes $500,000 in total. So
I don't think people know how intractable these like the water companies are. So here in Cleveland, me and Liz lived kind of in an urban area on the east side of Cleveland, and when we were there, we started getting notices, and eventually we got like final shut-off notices and shit like that about our water. Now, we rented. We didn't pay the water. And eventually we tried to get our landlord. He's like, yeah, there's like a $5,000 bill outstanding. but like there's like a broken meter or something, and they refuse to acknowledge it, so I'm not going to pay it. And I'm like, well, I can't go to work without a shower, so what the fuck do you want me to do? Like, I can't live in, like, this isn't even a legal domicile without running water. Like, I can't do anything about it. Because, you know, if you don't have all the things they say you have, like, they can condemn your property just because you're not doing it. Like, you can't rent to people if you don't have water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I called my boss that day. I'm like, I need to borrow some money to get the fuck out of here.
Well, and that's it. Like, there's no recourse. You know, when the city, when the state comes down on you like that and throws, you know, $500,000 at you, says you owe them. There's no recourse. He can't sell his house to get out from underneath it. You know, he's not going to be able to come up with $500K to pay for a bill that doesn't really exist. You know, I mean,
well, he can't. He's like, I can't even rent the house to try and make the money back to pay the bill because, you know, the water.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, and you know, I guess it's probably a little conspiratorial, but you know, I wouldn't put it past anybody to you know, put the squeeze on to foreclose on the house, because really that's where it's going to go. It's going to get foreclosed, and the city will probably take it over, and
he's going to be robbed of all the money he spent on it because of this stupid fucking water bill. Because he now has I think he has back taxes based on on the house because of this water situation. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to beat a dead horse on this one too much, but it's an absolutely crazy story.
It is, and his picture is just priceless.
Yeah, dude bought the house at 19. He's like, this is all I got.
Yep.
So, okay. All
right.
Let's move out of New York for a while. Yeah, we can't talk about New York too much because it fucks with you. It makes you angry inside.
Makes you sad.
Let's move along to Elizabeth Warren looking out for farmers. What's funny is, didn't we just have a president who was looking out for farmers?
I don't know.
Wasn't that the whole Trump thing? Like, I'm gonna take care of Middle America and make farming great again. I'm pretty sure wasn't that the speech, "Make farming great again"?
I don't know. I didn't pay much attention. It didn't really matter to me who ended up there. Or,
yeah.
If you do, damned if you don't, you know.
At any rate, oh my God, Vic. So we have there was a few.
There's
things.
So much here.
Yeah, there was a lot here. Essentially, Elizabeth Warren has a plan to go out and try and help family farmers and basically do trust busting in the farm industry here in America. Now, let's say nothing of the fact that all of those companies that they list off in their monopolies that they've, mind you, a the one that was killing me is they said, so like there was in one of the industries that there was a 54% monopoly by 4 companies. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So they each got
top 4.
They each got about 12.5% of the. That's not a monopoly then. That's
the top 4 meat processing companies have 53% market share.
So you know, they each have 12% market share. That seems like.
I don't know what you're supposed to do there.
Yeah, like that's not a monopoly. This is that whole meme. That word you keep saying, I don't think you know what it means.
Yeah, no, the
3 big chicken companies have 90% market share. Okay, once again, so 30% per company? Like that's not a monopoly.
No. No, it's not, but it sounds good, right? And isn't that what this is all about? You know,
well,
it sounds good.
It's always about what it sounds like, because it's not about the facts. Now, the one thing I will say in here is it's like, oh, Monsanto, she wants to break up Monsanto. Well, I don't know how that's going to work since Monsanto has people in. Oh wait, every level of the FDA, like they're the ones that are involved in making the rules that they have to follow.
Well, that's it. I mean, like, you know, it's they're so interlinked. They're so, I mean, Monsanto is in the government and the government is in Monsanto. And, with all the IP and, the fact that you can patent a seed, the fact that they allow Monsanto to patent genetic material, and then come after, a farmer for having cross contamination. I mean, you can't stop a bee. I mean, corn is wind pollinated and it spreads, a mile on a, you get the wind going and it's crazy. And then they're gonna, come after you for that, with the government's backing. The government's behind them.
Exactly. So the government's going to step in and fix a problem that government created in the first place.
Right.
You sent another article that I thought tied into this one really nicely, because it was actually an IP focused article. It was on the ability of consumers to be able to repair their own stuff. It's kind of a fight against Apple. But it's also a fight against a lot of those tractor companies that you have to go to the tractor company to get your tractor fixed. Yep. All the proprietary parts. Wait, so the IP that you make is legitimate is once again fucking over the farmers that you're trying to help.
Yeah, and that's that's one of the things that she wants to do, right? This she calls it a right to repair. And part of it is.
Just for the record, that whole thing is bad IP. It's just IP.
Yeah, right. It all boils down to the fact that that intellectual property. Now you have to but at the same time, right? I don't have to buy a John Deere tractor if I don't want to. If I want to go buy a Yanmar and from Japan, Japanese tractor. Okay, it might not have all the perks and whistles and bells, but at the same time, then I don't have to go to my John Deere dealer either. At the same time, any product you buy, any company is gonna void the warranty if you try to fix it yourself. And why shouldn't they? Who's to say I didn't drop my laptop, break it, and now I'm going to send it back and say I tried to fix it, it doesn't work, and you need to respect this warranty.
Yeah,
that's insane.
The point is that you were trying to repair it to save money in the first place. So if you want to spend the money and have you can spend the money and have it done right by the company that does it, which is a premium option, or you can take the affordable option, which given enough time would absolutely become incredibly affordable.
Right. Yep. And it sucks. I hate it. I mean, I remember you used to be able to, change the spark plugs in your car, no problem. And, there's cars now you can't. I mean, you can change the spark plug, but then you got to go to the shop anyway to get the
timing adjusted, the computer
chip reset. And it's just some stupid thing that, well, they're licensed to do it. Because. Yeah. And why? Because basically of intellectual property. I mean,
why are we talking so much about intellectual property when we're in environmental issues? Oh, that's right, because they forced their hand by getting involved in the environmental issues. Here's another big one that one of their angry numbers that they use. All right, so the 71% corn seed market in 2015 was Monsanto.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it's because you subsidize fucking corn farms.
Well, that's the other thing. She's all about these. We have to save the family farm. We have to save the little farmer, and and farmers are making less money per dollar that is sold. I think it was 15 cents per dollar of food sold is what the farmer sees. But why is that? Well, we grow 3 crops. We grow corn, wheat, soy, a few other ones. Well, why is that? Oh, because it's subsidized. Because, I can grow this crap out my ears and I can have a huge surplus of it, and I'm still guaranteed to get X amount of dollars. you get rid of that and you're going to see people change, right? Like it's not going to make sense to me for me to plant a whole bunch of corn if everybody around me is planting a whole bunch of corn. I might try to diversify things a little bit just so I can stay in business. But if I know the government's going to pay me for it,
I love where like she steps in. They say, "Well, it doesn't matter if he could have had everything go right, and you still don't make enough money." Well, what that tells you is that the market doesn't want this fucking thing. Like you.
You're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Anytime subsidization gets in there, it distorts prices. Like, which means you can't rely on signals. Like, that's all. That's a whole thing boils down to signaling. Like, oh my god, I can't even fathom like what prices would actually be on things without government involvement.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
no idea. I'm sure some things would be. You'd say, "Holy crap, that's expensive," and other things you'd say, "Whoa, wait a minute, I was paying that much before." I think you'd see things both ways, but it'd level out.
Thing is, and the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that none of this is new stuff. All of this is stuff that's like, what was it? I think they started subsidizing the fields, like subsidizing certain crops back during the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, I don't know. For sure. I don't know.
I can't remember the specific date on it, legislation, but no, without question, like that whole thing started that long ago. So literally, our generation, our parents' generation, have never lived in a world where the prices weren't distorted by subsidization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and here we got Elizabeth Warren stepping in to save family farms. I don't really care who runs the farm as long as it does it efficiently, and there's other options that can move in and move out.
And that was one of her things about talking about vertical monopolies, and the same. She was talking about chicken farming, I guess you call it, or whatever you want to call it. The chicken. Let me find it here. Sorry. But it was basically, it's a vertical monopoly, and she's talking about how that's bad. So Tyson, for example, controls just about every aspect of bringing chicken to market: feed, slaughter, trucking, everything except owning the farms themselves.
I mean, it couldn't possibly be because they wrote so many fucking regulations that nobody else can enter that market.
But why is that necessarily a bad thing, though? I mean, why is that a bad thing that, like...
Well, they can set prices. They can just take control of everything needed to do the process, and then they can just jack them up.
Right, but if you allowed, right, for more people to be involved in the end product, and it wasn't so cost prohibitive to get involved with some of this stuff, but it's going to be so much more efficient for one company to just do everything in-house, and just they know how this runs, they know how that runs, and it's bing, bing, boom, and it's done. You got to go find somebody else that you got to make a contract to do this, you got to make a contract to do that.
Everybody's taking their percent,
and that's it, right?
I mean, like the process.
You break that up. If I have to sell you, baby chickens, and then you raise them, and then you sell them to somebody else so they can butcher them, and then they butcher them, and then they have to sell them to somebody else to package them. What's that going to do to the price of things? Everybody's going to want to get their cut out of that. And when it shows up on the grocery store, you're not going to be buying chicken breast for $1.99 a pound anymore.
Yep. I mean, in this is all without getting into the insane, like the way tariffing affects these industries. This is strictly off of like regulation and subsidization within our country. The minute you start getting into like when we're trying to regulate crops coming into our country from other nations using tariffs, and we pay a lot more for everything than we need to for the most part, with the exception of probably oil. I suspect we pay a lot less for oil than we should.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
it depends, I guess, how much we actually end up producing, how much you could produce versus what's out there. And I don't know those numbers offhand at all. If we kind of loosen things up a little bit, you might might see some more come out. But.
Well, I mean, the big thing is so if that price is like to talk about green energy tangentially, like the fact of the matter is we don't have any idea what green energy actually costs versus the fossil fuel energy, because fossil fuel energy, like like corn, is highly subsidized by the government, and subsidization takes many many angles, like as for instance all of the wars that we fight in the fucking Middle East to control oil fields. That's trillions of dollars propping up that industry and keeping those prices low.
Hey, we got to get our heroin from somewhere, man.
Like, for all we know, it could actually be cheaper for wind or solar energy, but because you have the market so distorted, we have no concept of what it actually does cost in relationship.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's the way it goes. It's kind of. How do you fix it? But anyway.
How do you fix it? Get the government out of the fucking bullshit. That's it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That government that's somebody who used to work for Monsanto or Bayer or any of those, Shell, Mobil, whatever company it is that you're talking about, that wrote the rules that keeps them in place.
Well, and that goes back to Lizzie Warren here. One of her things, like I guess there's something called a checkoff program, and basically producers of certain commodities, including beef, pork, chicken, eggs, and corn, are required to pay a portion of their sales into the federal checkoff program, and they use that money to fund national advertising campaigns, which, I mean, really just sounds like the union, forcing these companies to pay into something, and God knows what they're gonna use it to do, but you got to pay it all the same. And that's what it is. I mean, it's the same exact
join our
thing.
cartel or not.
Yeah, right. And she wants to get rid of that program, and I was like, yeah, okay, but what is that? That's this thing that has been set up by the government, set up to basically fund lobbying, and who pays for the lobbies? Your big agribusiness. That was the one part I was kind of like, oh, all right, you're almost thinking. But,
Well, in so much of this, it all boils down to, it's like, okay, I understand where your quote unquote heart is. I don't think Elizabeth Warren's heart actually is here. Either that, or it could be her heart, and she's just the dumbest human being alive who doesn't understand how Congress works. She's in Congress. The point is that at every step of this, you need to get corporations as far away from, like major corporations, as far away from setting the rules as possible, because that keeps out the upstarts. It keeps change. It solidifies and calcifies what's there already. And government is just another corporation.
Yeah. And even, and she did. She said she wants to get rid of this checkoff program,
but she wants to add a bunch of more programs. Like,
well, but she wants to regulate it so that this program can't engage in anti-competitive practices or lobby the government.
I'm going to bring in trust busters. Well, you're going to fucking pay those trust busters. Who do you think is going to get those jobs? Oh, people that know about this industry, which is obviously going to be the people that were in those industries for those big companies that know. Like,
it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's replacing one thing with another thing that's exactly the same.
I would rather be able to say, I'm not going to buy your product and go and buy a competing product than have to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're seeing more of that, kind of in your local farm industry, whether it's through CSAs or farmers markets and stuff like that. I think there's, coming around. But I think it comes down, that it's let's
not even get into the regulations that those people have to deal with.
Oh, no, I know. But I think if you want to kind of fix the environment, if you want to fix, a lot of these problems, it starts at home. It starts in your local backyard,
Yeah.
Really, I don't know.
So we've
Yeah.
We've dwelled on this one for a little bit here.
Yeah, you want to move back to New York?
Yeah, let's head back to New York because this one is just fucking hilarious. And it's so naked what the hell it's about. And like one of these articles just lays it out within the first paragraph exactly why this is happening.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell our people a little bit about what New York is doing?
Oh Lord, I don't even know. Well, Cuomo one of the things he ran on was cannabis, I don't know, legalization, decriminalization. Basically, he was gonna recreational cannabis was gonna be something that they put in the bill, but in the budget this year. But apparently, they didn't have enough time to put it in the budget, and it would cost too much money to get it into the budget or something like that. Because God knows what deregulation costs, So
yes,
instead,
having fewer people do something always costs more.
Well, yeah, I think it's putting less people in jail is going to affect their budget some. So but, less fines to collect. So,
yeah,
they're also trying to figure out how to make more fines, and they're just going to go ahead and they're fighting California. They're going to ban those plastic bags.
Well, it's not that they're just banning plastic bags. They're also going to start charging for paper bags. If you want to have them. This is what I love about this. So I'm reading this article, and we'll read it. The first sentence says everything that this is really about. It has nothing to do with the fucking environment. I'll tell you that goddamn much.
No.
New York appears poised to ban single-use plastic shopping bags and mandate a small fee for paper bags, with a final deal expected to be part of a $175 billion state budget. Wait a minute. Why the fuck are we talking about budgets? Either it's about the environment or it's not. Like, that's what laws are for. Like, you people go and set laws because you think some behavior is bad or whatever, something you want to punish or have less of. What the fuck does it have to do with the budget?
I don't know. You'd have to ask a politician.
Why is that in your paragraph 1? Like, that is like, I have a little bit of a background in journalism, and like your most important stuff goes in 1. Well, that shouldn't have jack shit to do with the budget. It should be, these are the environmental things that we expect this to offset. This is the behavior that we expect this to change. But no, it's because we need more money, and we think that selling paper bags at grocery stores and us getting a cut will improve that.
I'll close that up. Yeah. Yeah, it really, and yeah. It leaves you dumbfounded.
Well, and here's the beauty of it. So like you're reading about this, it's not like it happens everywhere. Like not everyone has to do this. They've carved out their little places, their little businesses that don't have to. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sorry, some of this is just so fucking ludicrous to me. The places that it's okay: uncooked meat, fish, or poultry, bulk items, sliced or prepared foods, a newspaper for delivery, prescription drugs. But why? What? Like, out of all those, uncooked meat and bulk items, I kind of get it. You don't necessarily can't do much about those.
Yeah.
Sliced or prepared foods. The fuck does that have to do? Oh wait, it's because Burger King and all of those companies that want to do, like, what it probably was? It's probably Subway.
Yeah.
Subway in their plastic bags. Like, look, man, I'm not fucking paying you more, so this is how we're gonna. Oh no, we'll cut you in on this. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. It's like. Because you can still buy plastic bags, right? You can still buy plastic bags for your
bulk
garbage. If you want to go buy plastic bags, that's okay.
And that's the thing. I don't think that. I honestly don't believe you can. Like part of this is handling unless you buy them in bulk. You're not like they're not allowed to sell them either. So I'm not sure if that means like you can only buy them at restaurant supply stores or stuff like that.
Well, that's what I wonder. I wonder if you go and save your plastic bags from Subway and bring them to the grocery store with you. Will they fill it? Will you get like fined?
Like you're like fillable bags.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring a plastic bag back to the store that I kept from before the ban. Make you fill it up.
Yeah, that's interesting. Granted, it probably wouldn't last that long. The point is though. So, what are we trying to fix here? We want less plastic bags in the environment. Okay, well, why do we use plastic in the first place?
Well, I mean, it's easier. It's a whole lot easier. It's a lot cheaper. It's
So it probably takes up a lot less space. Maybe requires a few less trucks moving, pumping fucking fuel and fumes into the goddamn air.
Yeah, those boxes, 1,000 bags in a box the size of.
I'm just telling you right now, the plastic
by
is
6.
The plastic's way lighter than the paper.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And when you think about like the resources that are used in creating it and shipping it around and the like.
Just for the record, who's going to eat this cost?
Oh yeah, I mean that yeah.
Customers.
goes without saying.
They say, well, the State Food Industry Alliance, which represents grocers big and small, says the plastic ban will increase their costs. Yeah, it's what you're going to pass on to your consumers. You're not going to fucking eat it.
Right. No, I mean, and to suggest that they would eat it, no, that's coming out of
so
you and me buying groceries.
So now here's a question. We both obviously think it's ludicrous that they're doing this, but what do you think is a better option? Are there things that you know of that we already have in place that we could do?
Well, I mean, when I used to work in a grocery store up in New York, I don't know, worked there for like a decade, and they had if you brought a plastic bag back, they'd give you like 2 cents off for every plastic bag, and if you brought a paper bag back, or a reusable bag, they'd give you a nickel back. Some people used it, some people didn't use it.
Whatever happened,
and really, when I lived over in Korea for a little while, and the grocery store there, you had to buy bags if you wanted to get a bag, you would buy it, and that was I don't believe that was the state doing it, because I could go to the bodega.
I shop at Aldi all the fucking time.
Oh, that's right. They got their boxes, huh?
Yeah, you just use the boxes that you pick up out of the back of the building.
Yeah.
I never complain about it. Whatever. And I can purchase bags there if I want to, but I'm probably not going to. And that's a company policy.
Yeah.
So and if you want to help the environment, go and help the places that, do that.
Yeah, no, and that's,
for the record, they pay pretty goddamn good over there too.
At Aldi's?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that. I don't think we have one around here. I don't know where there is one.
They're all over. They're all over up here.
Yeah, I remember when I lived up there. Remember going there.
Yeah, because that means you're poor. That's all that shit means. You put the quarter in your cart.
In the cart, yeah.
Yep, and then you get your quarter back when you put the cart back, so that you don't steal the cart.
What is it? And that's all company policy, and likewise it should be.
Vote with your dollar.
Yeah.
Go out and tell people. The whole thing is this. We talk about it a lot in like the libertarian movement about, oh, it's charity. We need to take that money and we need to educate people. No, you need to take your money and educate people.
Right.
You need to be the fucking mouthpiece that goes and tells people that this is bullshit. This is what we're doing. This is the harm we're causing. Or even better yet, so this whole thing, I'm thinking, whatever happened to that Indian dude that had a way to turn plastic bags back into oil?
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure. There was a guy who, and maybe it was too expensive, because ultimately what that boils down to is, even with recycling doesn't make any money. It costs money to recycle. I was having the conversation with a good friend of mine today, actually, because he was over in Rome and he was just geeking out, like, oh my God, they recycle everything. Just everybody does it. I'm like, okay.
Italy, Rome, or Rome, New York?
Italy.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, yeah, they've been indoctrinated for fucking ever in the European Union.
Yeah, right. Well, and there was just something not too long ago. I think Fee ran an article on it, and the New York Times had something on it. Basically, like recycling is stupid, and it
all the trucks you run to do it just puts more shit in your air, causes more problems, burns more fossil fuels, costs more money.
And now China won't buy it because they figured out that this is stupid, and so we just put it in the garbage anyway.
It ends up in the same fucking landfills, but it makes you feel good in the meantime.
Oh, of course, right? I did something today. I cut my 6-pack apart and saved a dolphin.
To me, it's the Band-Aid. If nothing else, like maybe you're right, but it's a Band-Aid. It's what I tell people. Like, so the EPA even existing is just a fucking Band-Aid. It's there to keep you from suing industry. That's what it does.
That's all it does, and it amazes me the number of people that will that don't get that or think that somehow. I don't even know. It makes
you think somebody has your best interests at heart and is out there doing what needs done to take care of you. What they're doing is they're collecting money for the government so they can get their piece. And because all those rules on all of the fines and stuff, like they're not going to stop polluting, but they will take a little, cut. Let the government have their cut so that you can continue polluting. And they'll set it in a place where it, makes it where it, it looks like it did something, but it didn't really. It doesn't hurt, but it's a token. So either you ignore the rules like that, or the other thing is that we were in compliance with this the EPA, so sorry, you can't sue us anymore. Like we did what we were supposed to do.
It puts a layer of protection between the corporation.
And I'm sorry, you do not have the piggy bank in our modern legal system that they do, and you will not win.
No.
Like all it is another layer, like I said, another layer of protection for giant fucking conglomerates that they can use. It's the thing I don't understand when people don't get. Law should not be complicated. Law is complicated because people want it to be complicated. They want it to protect the people at the top that can pay to have people on retainer to go and give me 40 eggheads that'll make sure I never have to deal with somebody else coming at me saying I fucked their world up.
Yeah, it's really, laws shouldn't be that difficult.
Well, because the one that always gets thrown back at you is like, the Clean Air Act, and all the clean air and water and all those places, those places, especially in Cleveland because they had the river set on fire. And I'm like, so what do you think would have happened? Like the people are just going to be like, oh, too bad the river set on fire,
Yeah.
I guess we're just going to continue to let the company do that. No, you find out what the company is and you go and fucking sue them. A class action lawsuit with everybody in the city of Cleveland. You jeopardized all of our insurance rates are now going to go sky high because at any point our houses can go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just had this discussion with someone the other day about the EPA and the Clean Water Act. Actually,
you mean that act that actually slowed the progress? If you look at the numbers, it actually
that's the one.
Yeah,
but and they're
they're lied
amazes
to.
Me the number of people.
They're lied to every day. That's what it is.
And he the guy was a little ancomy, but advocating kind of for the same sort of things, but not really, and just thought that this was bad. That this just allows corporations to do more damage, and couldn't see that having these acts, having these bills sort of in the way, just facilitates it more, just keeps us, the people, more at arm's reach. And unable to.
If you actually had a referee in government, maybe it wouldn't. But your guy's not getting into government.
Right.
That's just
that's it, right? I mean, and that's in an ideal world that could work.
Without without human motivation, like
in utopia,
But we're the utopians over here in ANCAP land.
Of course we are. Of course.
Anyways, so
All right.
Anything else you think we should touch on in today's episode? We've bitched enough about this.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see how this thing goes.
So I'm gonna take
all right,
off.
dude. All right, dude.
Take good talk, man. Peace.